Hello everyone, Carlos Flores, back on basics. So before we begin our video today, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so that way you can get notified of any new videos, any new shorts that come on board. If you have a topic, a question, if you have something that you want to ask me, put it in the comment section. I'll be happy to give you my take on it. And if I don't just give you my straight take, I will make a video of it as well. You want to connect with me on other social media outlets, you're more than welcome to. You can connect with me on Facebook by searching for me, Carlos Flores Jr. You can connect with me on Instagram by typing in @BackOnBasics. And you can connect with me on X by typing in @BackOnBasics. So today we're going to talk about positive mindset. And if you saw my shorts, one in Spanish, one in English, I talk about positive mindset. I talk about making sure that when we're not thinking in a positive way, that we always come back to a positive mindset. And how do you do that? Well, it sounds easy and it does work. It just takes a little bit of work. And so there's many different ways to do that. For example, my video from yesterday, taking micro breaks. It's a great way for you to stop the momentum, whether positive or negative, and just taking a quick break, taking a 3 to 5 minute break. That actually helps you focus your mind and get your body going as well. And so, micro breaks are great because micro breaks can actually help you get refocused, right? It can help you connect with your support system as well. And also it can help you just stop the negative thoughts that sometimes we have. I mean, we're human beings. Remember I told you, the first thing that comes to our minds is negative. We have to process through this in order for us to get to the positive. And it sounds like it's real or it's not real at all, but it's true. You know, when you wake up in the morning and it's Monday morning and you're about to go to work, or you're going to go to school, or you're going to have, a Zoom meeting or whatever, Google Hangouts meeting. What comes to mind on Monday? I mean, keep in mind, right? Monday's different. Monday's the beginning of the week for most people, because Saturday and Sunday, for the most part, you have them off, or at least you have it off of the activity that you're trying to start on Monday, right? So like for me, for example, tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow I go back to school. Tomorrow I go back and support students in the extended summer school for special education students and other students that are in a reading program. So I love it because I get motivated. Every day's different. Every day's different. I have some of the higher grade kids. They're very interesting. The majority of my kids are on my caseload are also autistic. So there's never a dull moment. And that's one of the reasons why I actually decided to do this video on positive mindset, because the kids that have kids that have autism, it all depends on a number of things. It depends on what you're doing. It depends on, for some of them, how many people are around you. It depends on the level of noise that's going on where you're going to do the activity. It depends on whether you're ready for it. It also depends on whether you've had success in previous activities. Doesn't that sound like human beings? It is, right? That's human nature. So it's the same thing that we go through. When we're about to start something, when we're about to start work, when we're about to start an activity at home, or chores at home, or even outside of home, it happens the same way. We start thinking about, okay, what's going to happen when I start doing this chore? How long is it going to take? Where is it going to take me? Oh, how am I feeling? And a lot of the times we always go back again to those negative feelings, because those are the things that come naturally to us. The mind has a bunch of stuff in here. So the thing is, and I'm telling you, and here's the secret, in psychology, it states that negative feelings come up first. Why? Because negative feelings get attached to emotions or beliefs or something very traumatic or dramatic. And that's why a lot of times negative feelings come out, or negative thoughts come out a lot faster, because they are attached to things that make a difference in our lives, things that slow us down, things that makes us have second thoughts about us being able to be successful in what we're going to do. Things that, for example, for introverts like me, I start thinking about possible conversations that I'm going to have throughout the day. Oh, I'm going to talk to this person about this. I'm going to talk about this topic with this student. And the thing is that if I'm not careful, I'm going to play the whole conversation in my mind. And by the time I get to my workplace, I'm not going to do it, because in my mind, it's already happened. And this is what the answer will be, or the outcome will be. With the student, it's the same thing. This is what the outcome will be. And so we psych ourselves out a lot of the times, because the first instinct that we have is that things are going to be negative. It's having a negative mindset. So we're going to flip it around, and we're going to have a positive mindset. How do you build a positive mindset? Okay. So, you know how easy it is to bring out the negative aspects, right? Negative feelings, negative emotions, negative ways of thinking, everything. Because they're attached to emotions. They're attached to something. So what I started doing is I started using memory tags. Remember, I've said this in other videos. Memory tags that I will remember. So for example, if I have a conversation with somebody, with one of my students, right, and I want to remember it, which I do. I want to remember it. I do a couple of things. I actually attach it to a memory that I will be able to bring up. So that way, instead of going to the negative mindset first, we will come up to the realistic one, to the one that we've had, to the positive mindset. And that's because it's connected with something that I will remember. It's a memory tag. Remember, a memory tag. I've been talking about this. And so for example, for me, what I do is I do it with a song. I do it with something that the person and I have in common, like a favorite TV show, a favorite YouTuber, a favorite food, and again, it's a memory tag that I know that I'm gonna bring up because it comes up, right? Because I've thought about it. The second thing I told you yesterday. Sometimes we're afraid to take breaks, to be honest with you, because we think that our momentum is going to slow down. But to me, that's wrong, because our momentum will be the same when we come back from a break, or a micro break, like I suggested. The thing is, here's the thing, is just keeping your mind sharp and focused on what you're doing or what you're going to do. So what I do, and I said this yesterday, is I grab a pencil, right? And I write a sentence saying what my next step will be when I come back from a break or a micro break. Close a notebook, fold the paper, right? I type it in and I bold it, or I change the color so that way I know where I'm at. When I come back, my brain, and again, the brain is so amazing that it doesn't want you to fail. In my opinion, this is my opinion. The problem is that it has so much information that at times there may be like a song connected to a number of memories, and you won't get the whole thing when you're trying to bring it back unless you have a strong memory tag connection. And I know it's hard. Maybe I should have a video on memories and tags, memory tags. I mean, it's interesting, and I'll tell you. Remember the story that I told you about me going into the house with the pitcher of milk, and as soon as I got in, firefight, right? That's a memory tag. That's an emotional memory tag, because I remember, I lived it. It was vivid. I can remember the shell casings from the helicopter just hitting our roof. Forget that, right? So, sometimes what I've done, and I remember this, is I connect a memory to one of my favorite songs. It's like, it's amazing, right? The things remind you of something. Remember, we have taste, we have sound, we have taste, sound, smells, touch, right? 5 senses, sight. And so those are many ways that you can remember something, positive or negative. And so you want to make sure that any of those senses or any memory tag gets connected, so that way you can actually remember it. For example, if I said, remember your first kiss, you'll probably remember it. Why? Because there was emotions in there. Maybe there was a song around. Maybe it was a special place. Maybe you, like introverts, you probably practiced what you're going to say and what you were going to do before. I mean, again, right? It's knowing how to store things in your mind, so that way you'll be able to bring them back out. So you don't always land on the negative aspect of it. Because if you start giving gray area to yourself, you'll start second guessing your activities. You'll start second guessing. So you'll go into the negative aspect, the negative way of thinking. You don't want to do that. And that's the reason why I recommended yesterday to take micro breaks, 3 to 5 minutes. Stretch, do some exercises, right? Right? I mean, sit down and meditate, sit down and pray. I mean, you can do a lot of different things, and then go back, right? Write down in pencil, so that way you know where you're at, and then you can erase it and you can continue, right? That's a memory tag, because your brain doesn't have to worry about that memory, because it's already written down on the paper. See, it's cognitive behavioral, right? If I think it, I do it. If I do it, I think it. So what you're doing is you're training your mind to be sharp about thinking about it and about doing things. So, again, we as human beings tend to be very negative originally. We do. I am like that. Today in the morning, it took me about 45 minutes just to get my butt going and walking. It did. Because I was in a negative space. And the thing is, I went through and I cycled through, and what I did is this. I remember, and I started in my mind bringing up small victories that compound, medium-sized victories that compound, and large victories that compound, because the more positives that you bring out, the more positives that you process, the more the outcome is going to look good when you do the action that you're doing, when you're communicating with the person that you're communicating, when you're doing your work. Remember, we go negative first as human beings. It's going to take a little bit to get to the positive. It's figuring out from the negative to the positive, and how you're going to get there. A lot of the times, memory tags are good. Writing down so that way you won't forget, or your mind won't have to remember things. I mean, I remember things without even knowing. I remember my dad's cell phone, which used to be the phone, the landline number for our house when we lived in Richmond. Amazing, right? Why? Because it's attached to different things. It's attached to Richmond, it's attached to family, it's attached to my dad, it's attached to a cell phone. There's so many memory tags that I can bring it up easy. It's easy to bring it up. And so there's other things that you can't. It's hard to bring up. So what you do is you think about it, you write about it, you process it, you talk to somebody, and then you kind of think of, okay, how am I going to remember this? How am I going to remember this? Right? And so a lot of the times you'll get it right, but there are some times where you won't be thinking about the positive. You'll be thinking about the negative aspect. And so, again, make sure that you're a lot of times, and in the short that I did earlier, what I talked about is preventative. Start thinking positive. Start thinking of your small victories, your medium-sized victories, your large victories, even before you start thinking negative. Prevent, right? So that way you have this positive mindset. And you get motivated, you get pumped up. Why do you think there's an audience in game shows? There's an audience in sports games. There's an audience in spelling bees. There's a lot of things. It's because they can bring out the good and they can bring out the negative in people. Just by the way they cheer, just by the way they do things, just by you all know. I love professional wrestling, right? And these people can go from good to bad. And they know how to do it because they know the psychology. They know that negative comes first. And that's the reason why everybody's such a bad guy. Such a good bad guy. Or good or bad person. But then these characters that become, world champions or fan favorites, they work over and over, compounding victory after victory after victory, no matter what size. So that way they can be trusted, they can be followed, they can be believed, they can be positive, right? So there's so many different ways. Our mind is very important. We tend to think negatively about us. In reality, we do. And about others. Let's get past that by thinking about the positives that we know about us. Or if you're talking to somebody else, the positives we know about that person or that group of people. Because if you're in a positive mindset, things are going to go. You're going to be moving forward. You're going to be taking it step by step by step. You're going to be getting to your goals. So, for example, thank you to the 203 subscribers. Remember, not in a lot of, I wasn't expecting to hit 203 subscribers so soon, to be honest with you. Again, I keep on saying, this is not a sexy channel, right? The dance, do a little dance and everything, but it's something that helps you. It's something that makes you part of my support system. It's something that makes me part of your support system. And so, again, positive mindset. It's hard. It's work. It's compounding effect. It's compounding victories. But you can do it. So next time that you're starting to think negative, reverse it and start thinking about all the positives that are going on for you. And believe me, I'm telling you, things will change. And in addition to, remember what I've said before, put a pencil or a pen or whatever, make yourself smile, because of the first minute you smile, see how my demeanor changed. I was kind of serious, kind of that, but as soon as I started smiling, then look, flush, because your body wants you to be in a positive mindset. Your mind wants you to be in a positive mindset, except that it diverts or goes to the negative first and then the positive. So, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so you can get notified of any new videos that come on board. Put any topics, any questions, anything on the section. And if you want to connect with me on other social media outlets, on Facebook, just search for me, Carlos Flores Jr. On Instagram, just type @BackOnBasics. On X, type @BackOnBasics. So till next time, right? What would you rather do? Would you rather get up in the morning and think negative, or would you rather just work a little bit to get to the positive aspect? Positive aspect of life, right? Positive mindset. Believe me, it's addicting once you get to it. Back on Basics.